In the last 48 hours or so, there's been a mighty uproar in the country over the recent utterances by Kapseret MP Oscar Sudi. In fact, we've seen an avalanche of responses to his comments on mothers and their mammary glands. And my oh my, have they all been falling over themselves in a bid to call him out and condemn his words. Some have even promised to march from Nyeri to Nairobi. Men, women, political leaders from both sides of the aisle, hashtags like Respect Our Mothers trending online with contributions from many of us ordinary citizens. We have all been collectively horrified by those words, and we ought to be. But how I wish we would hear this noise for all mothers in Kenya. How I wish we'd have been this outraged when the disabled mother who brews illicit liquor to feed her children was beaten by the village chief in Uasin Gishu County and further humiliated when he poured that liquor all over her head. Where was this noise and promised demonstrations when we learned of the mother who boiled stones for her children to eat? Where were we when an MCA, a mother, was clobbered at the Nairobi County Assembly a few months ago? Did we hear the widespread condemnations from these leaders when mothers and their children slept outside in the cold during a pandemic in the state-sanctioned Kariobangi evictions that had been halted by the courts? Folks, let's be clear. Everyone deserves respect, from the First Lady of the country to the First Ladies in our lives, our mothers. We cringe at the mention of the breasts of the First Lady, but we don't cringe at other human rights violations against our mothers and women in this country. We cringe at those words, but don't cringe at a country that for 7 years now has not been able to pass the gender rule. We cringe at Oscar Sudi, yet some among us use the phrase "uko na umama" as an insult. We cringe at this insult to the First Lady, yet we are the first to make jokes about single mothers and pass judgment on their parenting, think less of children brought up by single mothers? Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't the First Lady a single mother too, raising her children following the death of her husband? How many times have we heard things like "pesa si ya mama yako" or "this and that si ya mama yako"? You see, I have to wonder if the outrage by all and sundry is really just about being seen to be on the right side politically, or if it's because we really value and care for the women and mothers in this country. Don't get me wrong. Respect is key. Decorum is important in our politics as in life in general. If we'd have drawn the red line on such behavior collectively as a society, Oscar Sudi and all others would not have had the audacity to make those remarks and still refuse to apologize. We should be just as outraged about the disrespect to the First Lady of this country as we should be to every other mother in Kenya, including yours and mine. So tonight, my take is that if anything should come of this outrage, it should be that we should ensure we have an environment in which all our mothers are respected, an environment in which they are given every possible opportunity to raise their children the best way they can, that they themselves can prosper in whatever pursuits they choose. Anything less is just meaningless hot air.